Welcome. My name is Jill and I just completed my second year as a high school counselor. For a little educational background on me, I have a Bachelor's of Arts degree in psychology as well as a Master's of Education in School Counseling, both from Wright State University. I am also currently continuing my education at Wright State by taking classes towards a Master's degree in Educational Technology. Many of you have mentioned to me that you have students with anxiety in your classroom. So in this video, I will be addressing anxiety and will give you some helpful suggestions that hopefully you can implement into your classroom routine. Anxiety disorders are the most prominent childhood psychological disorder. Anxiety is the brain's response to danger. It is a basic emotion that is present starting at infancy. It is an uneasiness of the mind, usually due to an anticipated event. Anxiety is a continuum, meaning that one can experience very high anxiety or very low anxiety. As a teacher, it is important to be educated on anxiety because of its prevalence in today's classroom. Without interventions, it can be very difficult for students to succeed in the classroom.
By the end of this video, you will be able to name at least 5 signs or symptoms of anxiety, describe 3 things to do when interacting with a student with anxiety, explain an example of an expressive art, and depict 3 ideas you can use in your classroom to reduce stress. As I mentioned earlier, anxiety is prevalent in today's classrooms. 25% of students experience mild to moderate anxiety, and nearly 6% experience severe anxiety, meaning that in a classroom of 30 students, around 7 or 8 will struggle with anxiety. As you can see here, females are more likely than males to be diagnosed with anxiety. The median age of onset of anxiety is 11 years old. But again, as seen here, 25% of high school students experience anxiety throughout their high school years. Think back on your experience. How many students have you had in your classroom that suffer from anxiety? Survey data shows that there is a steady increase of anxiety over the last century. You may be asking, why is this? Modern life is one reason. In today's life, there are fewer opportunities to spend time and connect with people face to face. There's also a shift in values. Many value money and their image more than establishing and maintaining relationships. Technology adds to this as well. More time is spent on technology than building relationships. For example, let's compare these 2 pictures. This is how family time used to look years ago as compared to how it looks now. We spend more time on technology than connecting with our family. Experiences are also a cause in the increase. Teens are in school longer, meaning that they are starting in their career later. Divorce is more prevalent and drugs are more accessible. Unfortunately, students are dealing with all of these experiences with poor coping skills. Of course, there are other factors as well, such as parental pressures, social media pressures, media fears, and so on. There are many problems that result from anxiety. Often students with anxiety have problems with peers, repeated school absences, poor school performance, and low self-esteem. They also often turn to substances for relief, which leads to substance abuse. Many also often have psychosomatic illnesses as well. There are many signs and symptoms that can be used to identify anxiety. Some physical signs could be headaches, increased heart rate, which can be identified through possibly sweating, tightness of the chest, so maybe the student has shortness of breath, muscle pain, so maybe the student has tightness in their back, neck, or shoulders. The student could also be restless and constantly moving or shaking. And finally, nausea is also a physical symptom. Anxiety can also be identified through behavior. Some behaviors to be aware of are shyness, avoidance of activities or relationships, distress, so maybe the student is not participating in class or is continually asking for unusual accommodations. Also, aggressive behavior can be a sign of anxiety as well. Decline in the quality of work and low attendance are also some behavioral examples. There are numerous psychological signs of anxiety as well. Unrealistic fear or worry, indecisiveness, irritability, restlessness, and decreased concentration are all examples of psychological signs. Some of these may be harder to identify, but can be true indicators of anxiety. You may be asking yourself, what can I do to help? The small things can go a long way. Your actions or words can make a difference. When interacting with a student with anxiety, be sure to check yourself. Make sure your words, your tone, your body language, and your eye contact are all accepting and non-threatening. Sit next to the student. It is less intimidating than face-to-face. Listen to the student without judgment. It is often hard to understand what they are going through, but it's perfectly okay just to be present and listen. Also, simply ask the student, "How can I help?" This lets the students know that you can help and that you want to help. Finally, most importantly, provide the student a safe and quiet space. If your space doesn't allow for this, the counselor's office is a great place for the students to go. There are numerous interventions that you can implement into your classroom routines. If you think about your teaching methods, you may already implement some of these ideas. The goal of these interventions are to help the student feel safe, to connect with someone, increase their coping skills. We want them to be more resilient, feel in control of their emotions, be successful, and feel good about themselves and who they are. These interventions can take many forms. Expressive arts are a prime example. Art. Many students like to draw or color. Music. Music can be very relaxing and relatable. Writing. Students can use journaling or storytelling as a coping mechanism. Movement. Physical activity is a great stress reliever. Take a walk, do some yoga, or do some relaxation techniques. Any of these could greatly reduce anxiety for a struggling student. Now I will give you some more specific examples of ways to reduce stress in your classroom, which will make the environment more conducive for a student with anxiety, which will then in turn hopefully aid in student success. An essential one, keep lines of communication open. Communication is the single most important thing you can do for your students. Create open channels for them to come to you for questions, support, and advice. This mentorship approach will build safety in the classroom and help the students to feel like you are on their side. Also, have flexible assignments. Instead of assigning homework every night, assign a packet, which will let the student decide when it is best for them to complete it. With extracurricular activities, some nights it might be impossible for them to do their homework without it impacting their sleep. Grade effort as well as product. Some students will work diligently for hours and only be able to produce an average product, whereas others will work on the project a quarter of the time and produce the A+ product. This can be demoralizing for those students who are putting forth so much effort. Even if you work in a school where grades must reflect a certain level of aptitude, which limits your ability to assign an effort score, you can still recognize the effort and reward those who work hard. Another suggestion is to offer a 5-minute or less meditation at the beginning of every class would be helpful. Teach them how to deep breathe. Use deep breathing exercises and give them time to relax their body and minds. You can find great examples on YouTube. Go ahead and pause this video and Google 1-minute breathing exercises on YouTube for some good examples. Hopefully you are able to find one that you may use. An additional suggestion is to allow fidget tools such as stress balls, but be sure to create rules so that it does not cause a problem. It is also important to create balanced exams. When it is possible, offer exams that have multiple parts, maybe verbal, extended response, multiple choice, open book. Be creative. Having multiple parts and different options can greatly reduce the anxiety of having to do well on a single part. An obvious suggestion that many forget about is to use your resources. Talk to the counselor at your school for suggestions, as they may have a background on the student that may be helpful. Finally, my last suggestion for this video is to help the student enjoy the process of learning. A stressed out student often forgets about the process in learning and the importance of it. They are so fixated on the end result and the grade that they don't know how to enjoy how to learn. Take moments in the day to point out the beauty in discovery, the fun in learning, in problem solving, and even failure. Remind your student it isn't all about the grades, it's about the journey of learning.
Thank you for watching this video, and I hope you found it relevant and useful. As you know, anxiety is on the rise and it will continue to be prevalent in the classroom today. So it's critical that you can identify it, that you know how to talk to students that have anxiety, and that you help reduce the stress in the classroom. This will truly benefit your students, their outlook on learning, as well as their success. It can also better your teacher evaluation along the way. If you would like to continue your research on anxiety in the classroom, I would suggest the book, Anxiety and Depression in the Classroom, A Teacher's Guide to Fostering Self-Regulation in Young Students, as well as the YouTube videos, Anxiety, A Classroom Perspective, Reducing Anxiety in the Classroom, and the video, Things Students with Anxiety Wish Their Teachers Understood. Finally, a great website for you or to refer parents to is worrywisekids.org. Thank you again for watching this video, and if you have any questions, please feel free to contact me at Goddard, goddard.12@wright.edu. As a quick evaluation, please answer the following questions in an email to me. Number 1, list 5 signs or symptoms of anxiety. Number 2, describe 3 things you as a teacher should do when interacting with a student with anxiety. Number 3, give me an example of an expressive art and how you can use it in your classroom. And number 4, explain 3 things you can implement into your classroom routine that will help reduce the stress. Again, please email me your answers to goddard.12@wright.edu. Thank you.